We witnessed moments of disrespect as Luffy's Gear 5 form transforms imagination into reality, converting a deadly poison attack into the wildest baseball game against immortal demons. Mars crosses barriers as if he were death itself, and an ancient robot which nearly destroyed Holy Land awakens after centuries. Mars crosses the boundary dome like a comet coming from the underworld, creating explosions that turn the sky into a spectacle of light. This demonic bird emerges from the destruction, looking completely untouchable, resembling the most terrifying creature imaginable. The Elder fixes his terrifying gaze and realizes he is dangerously close to the source of Vegapunk's worldwide message. Jin watches in pure horror. This experienced warrior trembles at the sight of this aerial demon. He turns his attention to Zoro and shouts that this battle is over. They need to evacuate immediately. Zoro finally sees Jin after processing Sanji's wild insult. But as they turn, they witness something unbelievable. Rob Lucci is still standing, even after being completely demolished. This leopard fighter is mimicking exactly how Luffy refused to surrender during their legendary confrontation at Enies lobby. Lucci prepares to ignore his wounds with a growl of anger, showing no intention of giving up. Sanji asks if Jin has picked up Zoro, and our fish warrior is ready to end this chaos. Grabbing Zoro, Jin informs the swordsman that victory is already his. He prepares for his own technique, but politely apologizes to Lucci first. Jin launches his fist of 5,000 bricks, generating a massive cloud of smoke that propels them out of the combat zone. Lucci adjusts against the wind gust from the tornado's force as they fade away, transforming back into his human form. But Mars materializes in front of the CPO agent, ordering him to reveal the location of Vegapunk York. Lucci is completely stunned by this celestial nightmare. During the escape on Jinbe's back, Zoro is completely oblivious to what he just experienced. Lucci provides Mars with a complete tactical report. York is restricted in the control center on the 4th floor of Building A. He produces a black denmushi and lists the 2 opponents who just fled, as well as mentioning 5 additional straw hats and to Vegapunk's upstairs plotting an escape through the back exit. He also mentions for Seraphim and 85 Cypherpole operatives trapped on the lower floors, with only 6 minutes left until Vegapunk's transmission begins. Mars praises Lucci for his detailed report as he flies above. But as this winged god begins to depart, Lucci desperately demands that he hear one last crucial point. He solemnly reveals that his partner Kaku is severely injured in the control center, pleading with the Elder to protect his life. This is completely new. I never imagined Lucci would express such concern. Mars wastes no time in crushing those dreams, coldly clarifying, "It is hard to save a specific insect when you re-exterminating the entire nest." Back to the action, Luffy is jumping with excitement, seeing his huge friends again. Our rubber hero is happily chatting with the giant beside the now decapitated Elder Orm. Luffy continues saying that it has been over 2 years since their last meeting. Honestly, these giants can barely recognize him now. Broy talks about how legends circulate in Elbaf about the divinity that Luffy represents. Curious about where he found this transformation, our elastic captain is completely lost as to its meaning. Warcury absolutely never anticipated encountering giants in Egghead. Saturn calls this development an unpleasant complication. This monstrous creature brings back memories for Dory from the wilds of Elbaf. Luffy informs his friends that they shouldn't get involved in combat now. Evacuation is the priority. These giant warriors received Sanji's message during their journey here. The cook wanted them to convey that everyone is gathering on the other side of the island. Dory raises a horn to his lips and takes a deep breath. These warriors refuse to watch the straw hats being captured by the Navy. He sounds the horn, creating a deafening noise that echoes across the battlefield. All the other giant warriors hear this call. This means their leaders have located Luffy. Victorious, raising their weapons to the sky, these fighters prepare to return to their ship. Saving the Straw Hats is their only mission here, and destroying the Navy ships won't yield them any loot anyway. They burst into laughter while the Navy soldiers tremble in pure fear. Warcury hates that they are transmitting a signal of retreat and chooses to respond with his own version. This demon pig wants to demonstrate how futile it would be to try to flee. Luffy senses danger even before the attack is launched. With a thunderous roar, this beast releases its conqueror's haki. Luffy and his giant allies must brace against the supernatural roar. Trees and debris are thrown into the air as if a hurricane had struck. This even rips off Luffy's hat, scar, pants, and sandals. The impact spreads far beyond their battle. Terror dominates the Navy once again, and several collapse under the overwhelming pressure. The giant leader's worrying about Luffy, but his rubber body somehow withstands the attack. Luffy mentions how tight this escape was. As he puts his scar back on, identifying it as Conqueror's haki, he questions who this monster could be. Broy simply labels him as a heavyweight from the world government. The demon pig spins through the atmosphere, impressing Luffy, but the giants are ready to act. Warcury's tusks turn into sword blades that clash against their shields. They call this defense Sunshield. This demon in pig form questions what fate could connect these giants to someone like Luffy, curious if they have any knowledge about him. The warriors laugh at such a simple question. Luffy is their friend. With lightning coordination, they launch the giant pig away. It crashed beside Saturn while Dory and Broy demonstrate their incredible strength. However, it is still intriguing how Mr. Three Sails managed to capture and deceive them so easily. The bull spider takes a deep breath, recognizing his position before unleashing a storm of dark projectiles. He announces that they will be erased from the pages of history along with Luffy. Sensing the imminent attack, Luffy predicts the danger of the poison and warns his friends to be careful. Stretching out a huge arm from Gear 3rd, he tears off a palm tree and quickly transforms it into a baseball bat with his teeth. Then, grabbing a bucket of paint, he covers the bat with bright golden paint. He puts on a helmet and prepares for the perfect move. As the toxic spheres approach, Luffy acts. He simultaneously launches each one back to where they came from, exploding with laughter as he tells them to enjoy their own poison. The elders clearly never saw this coming. Who would expect this? But here comes the shocking twist. Those returned attacks detonate into multiple explosive clouds. Luffy is absolutely speechless witnessing this atomic-level devastation. Some members of the giant crew inform their leaders that these flames will seal the forest route. Dory concludes that it's time to leave, but Broy sees no real urgency as those monsters seem eliminated. Luffy corrects him. They must keep moving because these enemies are literally immortal. All three shadowy figures emerge from the fire completely intact. Luffy and the giants begin their retreat as Dory questions if they are really immortal beings. Luffy remains uncertain, but regardless of their attempts, they keep regenerating. Broy has never encountered any species or power that granted such abilities. But despite fleeing, he considers this a victory. Nami and the crew are waiting with the Sunny as she rushes Jin and Zoro to hurry. Jin confirms they are heading in that direction, but Zoro argues they would get there much faster if they could run normally. But knowing Zoro, if Jin lets him run alone, he will probably get lost, and we will see him in some completely different anime in the next episode. Bonnie arrives at the pirate giant warrior's ship, but danger is lurking. Vice Admirals Pomsky, Guillotine, and Red King have positioned themselves to eliminate her. At the same time, Sanji continues his run, carrying Dr. Vegapunk, when Mars suddenly materializes in front of York, demanding that she reveal the location of the rune displayed on the screen. This chatty woman breaks down in tears as the demon speaks, questioning his identity and pleading for him to go away. The Navy personnel gather around Kizaru, questioning if he is injured and offering medical assistance. Still hiding his eyes, the Admiral confesses that his wounds run much deeper, leaving them even more concerned about helping him. But what he wants most is to rest. It hurts deeply knowing he has lost almost all of his friends who brought joy to his life, leaving him with no one near him due to his conflicting sense of justice. But there is an even more urgent development. Something vastly larger than a giant has just emerged on the northwest coast. This ancient machine glides through the flames as if they were harmless raindrops. After centuries of slumber, the ancient iron giant has finally awakened, pleading for Joy Boy's forgiveness. The Gorosei believed this machine had been obliterated ages ago. It nearly ravaged Holy Land because of Luffy's presence. They will be forced to face this terror once again. Based on everything we've witnessed, Saturn possesses poison abilities, Mars controls electricity, Warcury commands fire, Zoro manipulates ice, and Jupiter dominates the elements of Earth. This is the episode Luffy's baseball game defying reality against immortal demons, Mars terrorizing everyone in his path, and an ancient robot awakening with centuries of regret. Which scene shattered your expectations after all this chaos? We are finally getting the backstory about these complex spies and their betrayals. How intense will this character exploration be? A big thank you to all the members of our channel for supporting us. A huge appreciation to everyone who showed love in the previous video. And please keep commenting, as it really motivates me to release the analysis of the next episode as soon as possible.